This is a big day for Face the Nation. Not only is it our second anniversary, and not only is it the first time that we've had a woman as a guest, today we have two charming ladies, both top campaigners for their parties in the closing days of this campaign. Mrs. Eleanor Roosevelt, and this reporter has crossed her path at Democratic meetings from Oregon to New York. And Senator Margaret Chase Smith of Maine, who is not facing re-election herself this year and so is out working for the Republican ticket.
Mrs. Roosevelt, I know you've made clear your belief that Mr. Stevenson is going to win this election on Tuesday. I wonder if you'd mind telling us by what electoral vote you think he will win.
Oh, sir, I'm not a good enough politician to have any idea about such things. I'm not a prophet, and I really would have no idea. It seems to me, however, that as the last few days have been developing, that there can be no question in the people's minds of the failure of our policies in the Near East, which have now resulted in our making NATO weaker. Our alliance with our allies has so encouraged the Soviet Union that at the moment it looks as though they had taken courage enough to move in Eastern Europe on Hungary in a very dangerous way, and I can see, of course, nothing but anxiety in the minds of everyone who understands the situation in these areas of the world.
Senator Smith, I assume that you believe the Republican candidate is going to win, but I wonder what you think the chances are of his taking a Republican House and Senate with him in view of the results in your own state.
Yes, I do believe that President Eisenhower will win by a good vote. I wouldn't venture a guess on the House and Senate, Mr. Sylvester. Maine was a little different. We had a very popular Democratic governor who was running for re-election, and there were several other reasons why Maine went as it did, but it will go for Eisenhower.
I would like to ask both of you a question. The campaign seems to have come alive suddenly with the war in the Middle East. And I would like to ask you whether or not you think the American leadership could have prevented that war in the Middle East. I'd like for you to answer that first, Mrs. Smith, and then Mrs. Roosevelt.
Well, Mr. LISAGOR, I think, no, I don't believe it could have.
I don't quite understand the question. Would you repeat it?
Could American leadership have prevented the war in the Middle East today?
Yes, I think so, if we had acted a long while ago. We did not move soon enough. We were partly held back by our oil interests, but these things don't happen overnight. They build up, and I think anyone who has watched the situation in the Middle East growing has been longing to see some kind of constructive action on the part of the administration for some time.